The aim of the session, the workshop one, was to raise awareness of violence against women and girls. So to support the young people to understand what it looks like, how they identify it. They're impacted by a whole range of influences. So it's important that them clear messages are coming on all fronts.
Yeah, so we've had a lot of really good conversations this evening around the different abuses that can take place within relationships. Just bringing that to the forefront so that young people are having those conversations on sort of what a good relationship and a bad relationship looks like.
We've been learning about violence against women and girls. It's a really important topic that doesn't get talked about enough. We've been learning about what to do in specific scenarios and sexual harassment, assault, abuse, unwanted attention and harassment. I feel like most men don't really hear about that kind of stuff, like most men blank it out. So it's really important that St. John today has been talking about it and just spreading awareness.
It's been very interesting, some deep conversations, but it's what we need to hear. So we've been going through the different types because there's variations of violence, especially sexual harassment. That was the main conversation of today.
We were sort of having deeper conversations about how women don't massively speak up all the time. So we said it wasn't just physical or sexual, there's a lot of verbal and mental abuse to it, so financial abuse and taking them out of education, stopping them from seeing their friends. It's probably a lot of a bigger problem than we actually know, because a lot of young people don't know how to speak up about it or how to actually say they're going through it.
As we know, one woman is killed every 3 days in the UK by a partner or an ex-partner. So that's just one statistic alone. And then the statistics that we went through tonight about how girls are catcalled, get sent inappropriate kind of photos. They were all kind of above 80%. So that's 80% of the population of girls that are facing all of these issues from boys. Education's key with everything. If you're not taught that something's wrong, how do you know it's wrong?
Most people should learn how to prevent but also be aware about these types of things. Being able to teach them at a younger age makes them more self-aware about what's going on, but also making sure they know how to avoid that situation, how to deal with it, how to support someone who's going through it. So yeah, I feel like it's very important that we're learning about it today.
If you learn it young, you can stop you doing it later, or you can stop other people doing it. They're really good because they help to teach people like me who didn't know that much about important things like that.
It was a real pleasure for me to speak to young people that were really engaged, were really conversational, but were really open about talking about the role men and boys have to play in this. A lot of this is there every day, and these ideas around the dynamics between boys and girls and men and women and sort of, misogynistic views. That conversation is so important with young people, and it needs to start with young people.
Been doing about if we agree or disagree, that social media is a big part of it. We learned that a lot of these things is led from name calling at first, and then it exaggerates more into picking on them, and then it just exaggerates to the higher level things. We
were debating whether for or against that social media is made it easier for people to talk sexist comments online to women. I think I was mostly speaking from my point of view about how people are treated on the internet, especially women. I've had friends who have told me horrible stories about how they've been dealing with unwanted attention online. It's vital that people know about this so we can stop it.
So in my session, I was dealing with 17 and 18-year-olds. And to be honest, they really got it. And there was only one male in the group. And we was talking about what violence against women and girls means to them. And he was like, oh, well, I'm not a woman and I don't really know what they go through. And I said, yeah, but what does it mean to you? What do you feel? And he went, it makes me feel sick. And I said, right. I said, it makes you feel that way. So what would you want to do to try and stop that, to stop you feeling sick about it. And then the second half of the session was about how people can intervene, and how people can have them courageous conversations in trying to end violence against women and girls, or if they see something happen, what they could do safely to try and help prevent that.
The generation of the future, and hopefully the change in the tide that we need. The more awareness that we can raise, the more young people we listen to understand what kind of influences are out there and how they're affecting their ideologies, their stereotypes, their interactions with the world, whether it be online or in person. The more we can start to recognise and understand what negative influences are affecting some of the views, and equally how we can work together to try and find a solution to the problem and change the attitudes towards gender and stereotypes.
The more conversations, the more events, the more young people, especially young males, teaching them the right ways and having those positive role models as well.
We've got to be the role models. If we can set the standard for young men and boys to look up to, honestly, I think half the battle's won. If we can kind of kick some of these ideas and some of these stereotypes into touch, young men will follow. They will, and we'll be halfway there.
No one single agency can tackle violence against women and girls. It needs a real all-round multi-agency approach where everybody's working together with clear messages and listening to young people, more importantly than anything, about what that violence against women and girls looks like to them now, and equally when working with men and boys, what they can do to try and tackle it.
Resources like this training is very good because that does empower young people. It's all about empowerment. If people can stand out, then people can speak out, and if young men can stand up against it, then we should cancel it out.
I just think it's been absolutely amazing. It's been absolutely outstanding, but more needs to be done. More needs to be done, to have that equal, fair society. And I think it needs to start with our young boys and girls.